So that's why I have to go to confession and tell the priest when I've been a bad boy. The Catechism of the Catholic Church is my favorite book in the whole world. Don't know what I'd do without it.
What is it, Tony?
I'm sorry, my love, but my sin sense is tingling.
Go get it, Captain.
Is that a tree with pink leaves? Fantastic!
You don't belong here. You're a leech to this country. Why don't you go back to your own country and starve?
Por favor, señor, please, I beg you.
Then you can keep begging, because I'm evil. Yes, immigration super control. Mr. Senator.
Looks like somebody's bright idea could have used a light. The light of the Catholic Church.
My God, another immigrant? Where are you from? California?
Well, actually, I'm Captain Catholic, here to spread the values of love, hope, and the Catholic way. And looks like you're being a little unfair there, Joe. Discriminatio.
Unfair? I'm simply following the law. Are you really defending this criminal? And you broke my phone.
Well, as you might have guessed, illegal immigration is a very complex issue. And we don't want to be dumbing things down now, do we, Joe?
Well,
Discriminatio?
Listen, she broke the law. You can't argue with that.
Simply stating that she's illegal is a simplistic approach that ignores the intelligence, sophistication, and humanity of any system of law.
What's the matter, Joe? Not enough room in the ballot box for some compassion?
Compassion? What about compassion for our U.S. citizens? People like this poor fool.
Mira, cabrón, estúpido político. Ay, Dios mío.
People like her are simply leeches that screw up our economy. They come here to reap the benefits of the welfare system without paying taxes.
I do pay taxes. I may be here illegally, but I don't cheat the U.S. citizens.
You see, Joe, there's a lot you don't know about illegal immigrants. Millions of illegal immigrants pay their taxes every year.
That's preposterous. How is that even possible?
I simply use a particular tax number issued by the Internal Revenue Service to submit my federal return.
The number is meant to be used by people who can't obtain social security numbers, and thus it allows illegal immigrants to pay taxes.
Okay, so some of you peons pay taxes, but you still don't belong here. Why don't you go back to your own country?
I wish I could stay in Mexico, but our family lost our farm due to the North American Free Trade Agreement.
What are you talking about?
Mi familia owned a farm that made delicious cheeses. They were so delicioso. But when NAFTA went into effect, the market was flooded with subsidized cheeses from the United States. We couldn't compete and lost our farm.
You see, Joe, millions of illegal immigrants are in the same situation. Marcella here lost her way of making a living because of an agreement made by the United States that favored the rich and simply made the poor of Mexico even poorer.
That's right, senor. The only reason I got to your country is because your country took away my job. I couldn't find another job in Mexico because of the flood of poverty. So my only hope was to come to America.
You see, Joe, the United States must share in the responsibility when it makes agreements that harm already poor workers. You can't simply turn your back on Marcella when you are practically responsible for her poverty.
Sure I can. My job as a United States politician is to take care of the United States. All I care about is the success of America.
Such an attitude is completely inhumane. Governments certainly have an obligation to ensure the safety and well-being of their own population, but they should also have a more universal ethic that values the well-being of all mankind and of each human person. For instance, the United States can't simply go into Iraq in a meaningless war, worsen the already poor condition in which Iraqis live, and then deny them the right to immigrate to the United States for a better life when it was the direct actions of the US government that made their lives even more difficult.
You know, we're only talking about Marcella here. What about illegal immigrants that don't pay their taxes and just leech off of our system? You can't tell me you support them.
That is a very different story. Obviously, there are times when illegal immigration is harmful and should be looked down upon. For instance, it would be immoral for well-off immigrants who illegally come to the US and refuse to pay taxes. There's also the issue of security. Illegal immigration is certainly not a black and white issue. The Catholic Church does not endorse illegal immigration. However, it certainly does not condemn it either, and in fact holds it to sometimes be acceptable and even necessary for the survival of a family, such as in Marcella's case.
So the Catholic Church does not have an official position stating whether illegal immigration is moral or immoral. It depends on the circumstances. The most important thing to remember is that love is never defeated. No matter what nationality, religion, or ethnicity, every human person has the right to be treated equally. Every human being has the right to life and everything required for human decency. Food and shelter, education and employment, freedom of religion and family life. You must make sure that your country does not harm such rights of people in other countries. If you do, you must be willing to take care of such people.
I'm so sick of all this preaching. I'm a politician, not a moral advocate. It just comes down to the fact that she's just a filthy
Well, that's not a word of equality.
That's great footage. Smile for the camera, Joe.
What? Where did you come from?
I asked Chelsea here to come along and take some movies of this little talk.
Why would you do that? When would you have the time to do that?
Well, when it came down to it, Joe, I figured that your objections to immigration came down to nothing but sick, sad racism, which unfortunately is another reason why sometimes people are opposed to immigration.
The media is gonna eat this up. Say goodbye to your voters, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. Looks like your career is over. Whoops!
Why, you live...
Aren't you going to protect your girlfriend?
Trust me, she can take care of herself.
Don't worry, Marcella. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to help your family over the border.
Captain Catholic, Capitan, thank you for everything.
No problem, ma'am. Just doing my papal duty.
But tell me, what nationality are you?
Well, I'm mostly Italian.
And weren't you in the Swiss Guard?
I sure was.
I served as a Swiss Guard until 4 years ago in May 2004, when I was called to the Americas after the death of my grandfather to become Captain Catholic. I came to this country from the Vatican as an immigrant myself. Why do you ask?
Don't you have to be 100% Swiss to be in the Swiss Guard?
Well, the Swiss Guard was fantastic.
See, but I don't understand.
Jump!